So, good evening, everyone. Today's May 14th. Started out with early wake up as always around 0700. Was wake up, so that's normal. Sun was out. You could definitely feel that it was colder. And I could also feel that during the night they turned the heat on because we started entering Siberia. So, got up, got ready for breakfast, got dressed, walked over the breakfast. As usual, very good. The cook is absolutely outstanding. Love everything he does. Um, had my first Russian course, and I gotta say, Russian is a very difficult language. Um, my biggest problem with it probably is the letters. I can figure out when I hear stuff kind of what's going on, but if you go ahead and you just give me the letters, it takes me a while to get it, but hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm still learning. I practiced once the course was done in my room, so I spent some time practicing writing and reading the different letters to try and figure out what's going on. Um, After that, we had lunch. Lunch was absolutely amazing. They had it was like a salad type thing. It was red beets, corn, carrots, fish, and lots of mayo. Now I know it sounds like an absolutely horrible combination, but it isn't. It tastes fantastic. Best appetizer I've had on board, but the best thing was the main dish. The main dish was fish. Now I asked what type of fish is this, and I was told there is no word in your language to describe where this fish is from or what it's called and whatnot, but I was told it's from the Arctic Sea. And it was baked with like a cream cheese sauce, and oh, to die for, absolutely. So once all that was done, we finally arrived in Novosibirsk. We were directly pointed out that the train station is in the shape of a train, which it is. I wanted to take a picture, but it's too big to take a picture of. I'd be standing in the middle of the busy streets, so I didn't want to get run over, so I didn't take a picture. First place we went was the historic bridge. It was part of the first bridge ever built in Novosibirsk. It was only one track, and also there was a statue of Tsar Alexander II, because he was the one who actually commissioned the Trans-Siberian Railroad being built. So they put up a big statue for him made out of bronze, as usual. Everything's either bronze or cast iron here in Russia. That was pretty cool. Then we went to the city center, and in the city center we saw the huge theater they had, and it's actually bigger than the one in Moscow. It's absolutely huge and surprisingly very cheap. So the average like ballet or play that they show there, it's like 300 rubles, which is like €6. So absolutely dirt cheap. And then in front of that they have a statue of Lenin. He's wearing like this big trench coat that's waving, also made out of bronze. And we were told that the local kids called the Batman statue because the cape, the trench coat reminds them of a cape that Batman would wear, so they called it the Batman statue. I thought that was quite entertaining. So after that, we went to a local market, and I gotta say, if you can't find what you're looking for there, you're not gonna find it. Absolutely amazing selections of meat, cheese, fruits, nuts, all sorts of neat stuff, and fish. So I went ahead and I was looking for black caviar, which, note, it is illegal. However, people still sell it. So I finally found a place that sold it. First 500-gram can. I'm like, okay, this is going to be ungodly expensive. Let's see if they have something smaller. So I found 100 grams. So I asked the lady how much, and she was kind of looking at me like, what do you want? And then one of the guys told her in Russian, he wants to know how much that cost. So she showed me on the calculator. 35,000 rubles, which is about 700 euros for 100 grams. So that half kilo one I've found, that's about 3,500 euros. So I looked at her and I went, nope, and left. So that's my black caviar story. But I did find out after asking my guide that is an absolute horrible price, and he has no idea why the heck they made that much. He thinks that because they know that we're tourists, they see the cameras and stuff, they put up the higher price, but he's saying anywhere between like 75 to 100 euros is perfectly normal for black caviar to cost. So maybe I still get some, just like one cracker full is enough just to say I've had it. So after that, we went to the most famous coffee shop in town. It's like a big circular building. Literally, it's round. It's like a ball. I had a kiwi drink. Kiwi drink was very good. Very surprising. It was actual kiwis and milk put into a blender, blended into a smoothie, and then a little bit of whipped cream on top. So it was very good. Then one of the guys in my group, we were talking, and he said that he used to be in the German military, which of course I found absolutely interesting. So I asked him, "What did you do?" Well, according to him, he was with the German Fernspee. If you're not familiar with them, they're the long-range reconnaissance group, and up until like 1996, they were the most elite unit in the German army. And after that, the KSK, Kommando Spezialkräfte, took over. They're like the Green Berets of the German army. And just looking at this guy, I'm going, this doesn't sound right what he's saying here. So we talked some more, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I did all these hostage rescue missions in the Philippines, Kosovo, and Afghanistan, Iraq." And I'm kind of looking at him going, really now? Oh, that's very cool, very impressive. I'm looking at him like, absolutely no way in hell. This guy was Special Forces. Just looking at him and listening to him, it's like you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. But I let him talk. I didn't even act like I was very interested and looking forward to what he had to say. He's a very friendly guy, don't get me wrong, but it's just a bullshit story he tells. We went back to the train after that coffee break. Train wasn't hot at all today because we're in Siberia. It was about 12 degrees Celsius out, and we were told the farther east we go, colder it gets. So it's going to be interesting. Chilled for about an hour in my compartment. Then went to dinner. As always, food is absolutely fantastic. Best cook I've ever had on any trip in my entire life. I mean, if I could, I'd take this guy with me home, or at least steal his recipes. I mean, they're to die for. Now kind of just relaxing, thinking about what's happening tomorrow. My waterproof jacket, looked at it, just freaking sleeve, and it's ripped partially, very little, about 3 to 4 millimeters, and black. And I was trying to figure out, what did I lean up against, what did I do? Well, today when I came back in the train and when I hung my jacket up, I realized I got stuck in the door, and that's grease that's on it, so that's never coming out. But no big deal, shit happens. I'll live. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when we were at the train station, we were met by a traditional dancing group. They had some traditional instruments. They were mostly wooden ones. They were very good. They did some dances for us and stuff, so that was cool. They gave us this bread. It's like this big loaf of bread. Everybody had a little piece, and it was basically yeast bread with salt. Wasn't my taste, but hey, whatever. Kept up the tradition. Had a piece. And then tomorrow we're going to go into more eastern Siberia, I guess you can call it that, because after that we're still going to keep heading east. And I was told by some other guests that they're having problems with their carts and with their compartments, and that actually wagon number 14 smells like a public urinal. They say in the bathroom there's absolutely no smell, but there must be a leak somewhere else underneath the train that makes it smell absolutely horrible. So I'm glad I'm not with them. I'm glad I'm not in that area, period. Do I feel bad for them? No, not really. Knocking on wood right here that everything goes well, but I'll keep you posted.